Hey everyone, and welcome back. What if your Notion workspace could do more than just store your notes, tasks, and project plans? What if you could have an AI sitting on top of all that information, helping you organize it, find what you need, turn ideas into action, and keep your projects moving? That's where Grok Notion gets really interesting. Notion is already a powerful workspace. But the problem with powerful workspaces is that they can eventually become messy. Pages pile up. Tasks get forgotten. Meeting notes disappear into olds folders. And sometimes you spend more time managing your productivity system than actually being productive. Grok can change the way you interact with that information. Instead of treating Notion as a place where you manually maintain everything, you can start treating it as a knowledge and execution layer that an AI can work with. So in this video, we're going to look at how Grok and Notion can work together to create a much more efficient productivity workflow. Let's get into it. E. Start with Notion as your source of truth. The first step is simple. Instead of keeping your information scattered across different apps, use Notion as a central workspace. Projects can live there. Tasks can live there, research can live there. Meeting notes, content ideas, customer information, goals, and documentation can all be organized inside the same system. The advantage isn't just having everything in one place. It's having structured information that an AI can actually work with. For example, instead of writing need to follow up with client, you could have a task with a deadline, project, priority, status, and related notes. Now, that information becomes much more useful because Grok isn't just looking at a sentence. It's looking at context. On. Let Grok turn information into action. This is where the combination becomes powerful. Imagine you have a meeting transcript sitting inside Notion. Normally, you'd read through it yourself and figure out what needs to happen next. With an AI-assisted workflow, Grok can analyze the notes and identify what was decided. What needs to be done? Who is responsible? What deadlines were mentioned? What questions are still unanswered? You can then turn those conclusions into actual tasks. So your meeting doesn't end with a page full of notes, it ends with a list of actions. That's an important distinction. Good productivity isn't about collecting information. It's about turning information into decisions and decisions into action. Tharn. Your Notion workspace becomes searchable intelligence. Another problem with Notion is that information tends to disappear into your workspace. You've written something about a project, but you can't remember which page it's on. Instead of manually opening page after page, an AI layer can help you find the information based on what you're actually asking. You don't necessarily need to remember the exact page title. You can ask something more natural. What did we decide about the pricing strategy? What were the main problems customers reported last month? Which tasks are overdue? What ideas did I have for the next product launch? The value here isn't simply faster search. It's being able to ask questions about your own information. FAR. Use Grok for daily planning. Here's another workflow that's surprisingly useful. Start your day by asking Grok to look at your current priorities. Instead of simply giving you a giant task list, it can help you organize the day around what actually matters. For example, you might have 10 unfinished tasks, but only 3 are genuinely important today. An AI assistant can help identify those priorities and organize them into a realistic sequence. You can then separate tasks into must do, should do, can wait. That sounds simple. But it prevents one of the biggest productivity problems, confusing being busy with actually making progress. Turn ideas into projects. Most ideas never become projects. They stay inside a notes page until you completely forget about them. Grok can help you take a rough idea and turn it into something actionable. Imagine typing, "I want to launch a YouTube series about AI agents." Instead of leaving that as one sentence, you could have Grok help turn it into a project page, a content schedule, a list of video ideas, research tasks, production steps, publishing deadlines, and follow-up tasks. Suddenly, an idea that would have remained a note becomes a workflow, and Notion becomes the place where that workflow lives. Sus. Automate the boring stuff. The real productivity gains appear when you start automating repetitive work. For example, whenever a new piece of information enters your workspace, you could have an automated workflow classify it. Research goes into research. Tasks go into tasks. Ideas go into ideas. Important information gets linked to the relevant project. Completed tasks can trigger the next step, and recurring processes can be handled without you manually updating the same databases every day. The goal isn't to automate everything. It's to eliminate the little administrative tasks that constantly interrupt your attention. Sigh. Build a personal knowledge system eventually. Something bigger starts happening. Your Notion workspace isn't just a collection of pages anymore. It becomes a record of how you work. Your projects, your decisions, your research, your process, your goals, your ideas, and your previous work. Grok can then become the interface through which you interact with that information. Instead of remembering where everything is stored, you ask for what you need. Instead of manually turning every note into a task, you let AI help structure it. Instead of looking at a giant database and wondering what to do next, you can ask for a prioritized view. That's where the combination becomes much more interesting than simply using Grok or Notion separately. Keep a human in the loop, but there is one important rule. Don't let automation make important decisions without checking them. AI can misunderstand a note. It can prioritize something incorrectly. It can create a task that isn't actually necessary. And if you give it permission to modify important information automatically, mistakes can spread quickly. So for important workflows, keep an approval step. Let Grok suggest, let automation prepare, and let you make the final decision. That's usually where the best balance between automation and control comes from Outro, and that's the real idea behind Grok Notion. It's not about adding another AI tool to your productivity stack. It's about changing how you interact with the information you already have. Notion becomes the place where your knowledge and work live. Grok becomes the layer that helps you understand, organize, and act on that information. And automation handles the repetitive pieces in between. Instead of opening Notion and asking, where did I put that? You can start asking, what do I need to know? Instead of looking at a huge task database and wondering where to start. You can ask, what should I work on next? And instead of collecting hundreds of ideas that never go anywhere, you can turn those ideas into actual projects. That's when productivity software starts becoming something more than a digital notebook. It becomes an intelligent workspace. And as AI agents become better at working with our tools, this kind of workflow could become the normal way we manage information and get work done. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more practical AI workflows, Grok tutorials, productivity systems, automation, and tools that help you get more done with AI. I'll see you in the next one.